Hey guys, it's Essence. I'm here in sunny Florida. It's a beautiful morning. I hope you guys are doing well. I wanted to talk to you briefly about my journey through the workforce and how I ended up here in the force in the Navy. Um, I'm very grateful to be here. I'm where a lot of people don't want to go or where they couldn't go if they wanted to because of how many challenges there are to get to here. I really had to grind just to get to the position where I'm at today. And it's been a decade of struggle bus. And honestly, some of it is from my own poor decision making, but I didn't know what I didn't know, and I was young. And I moved out at 18, you know, tried to do college, that didn't work out, had a kid young, became a single mom, and then I kind of struggled through the job hopping scene, and I experienced a lot of jealousy throughout my work experience, and that's what I wanted to talk about, is how I grew from that and what I learned from it. Um, I came a long way. I don't take it for granted, and I do believe that my life is only going to get better from here. Like, the orders that I got is way better than I would have imagined. Like, I'm back where I started my life, literally. And yeah, I was born in Florida. Um, I haven't been here in over 10 years, and it's so surreal to be here right now. It feels like a dream come true. Like, I didn't think that I could have it this good, and I'm very grateful for that. Also, I'm a Caribbean American, first generation American. I'm Bahamian and Jamaican. So, yeah, that's why I look like my face looks the way that it does. If somebody says, "Oh, what's your ethnicity? Where are you from?" I'm Caribbean. Um, Ancestry from Nigeria as well. And I take pride in that. So, I had to develop a sense of confidence and dignity and pride in myself. I had to build myself up because I grew up with a jealous mom, and she saw me as competition. So my life already, I had the lower hand. I was the only child, but I had a jealous mom. She was a single mom. I am as well. Like, it happens. It's very common, unfortunately, but what's even worse is that we don't have a relationship to this day because of the fact that she saw me as competition. And leading into my experience as a young adult in the workforce, it did not help me. It pushed me to want to do my best because I knew I didn't have that kind of support system that a lot of young women should have or do have. I had to kind of do things on my own, and then along the way I made friends. Along the way I got somewhat of a support system. I wasn't completely alone, so I'm grateful for that, but it was there were very long periods of just feeling isolated and feeling alone and feeling like I can't really trust people with my time and my energy, and that my finances is being depleted and I can't save and I can't get out of a situation. And it just felt like, being at rock bottom is where I was just going to be, because I was literally couch surfing at one point. I was in the shelter at one point, and I joined the force, with the motivation to get out of limbo where I felt like I couldn't get more money. Like, I need to increase income. Like, this saving and trying to save is not working. I need to get more income so that I can get out of the hole, because the debt is going to catch up to me. The interest is going to catch up to me. And I'm not going to take out more loans. I'm not going to, do what other people are doing. I'm just going to focus on what can I do to rid myself quickly of some of these problems that are taking me years to overcome. And I joined the force. That's what I did. And it's not for everybody, but it's worked for me. And this is not like a recruiting video. It's just me realizing who I am and knowing that I'm a fighter and that this actually fits me. It fits my personality. I'm a go-getter. I make decisions. I think about it. I ponder on it for a long period before I commit to it. And then once I commit to something, that's it. Like, you don't see me turn back. I don't go backwards. I don't go back to exes. Like, I am that person that once I move forward, once I cut people out, that's it. There is no going back. I don't go back ever. And I wanted to talk to you guys about jealousy again, like how it really impacts you as a young woman. And how important it is to find, who your real friends are, because some of them will literally be your lifelong friends. I'm friends with some people that I've been friends with since middle school and high school. These are best friends. It's been over a decade of a few of these friendships, and then I have a few friends from college who believed in me, who were genuine from day one, and I never let go of them, because that is how I am who I am today, is knowing that there are a few people out there. Even if it was just one person, there's at least one person rooting for you. That's enough to push you to keep going. And they knew my situation, they felt bad and they did whatever they could to help, knowing that they didn't have much to give either, but like they tried, and I remember everybody who was there for me, and I remember those that kind of abandoned me, or betrayed me, or belittled me even, and also were envious. My last job, I worked for a non-profit, and you know how that is, financially, it's a sacrifice. We work for a nonprofit, you're not really earning that much, but you feel noble for what you're doing for the community. And what I did was of a big service to senior citizens. Unfortunately, I had what I believe was kind of a toxic work environment for a while. It took a while for me to grow onto people and for people to kind of appreciate my contribution and, get used to me, get to know me and stuff, because I was so different and so unique. And for those who know, they know, but, there's people who just didn't get me. So they kind of challenged me or tried to, pick me apart or figure me out or test my boundaries, pick up, my minor mistakes. And then I started learning quickly and getting better at what I did, became more efficient, and started contributing in ways that could actually have long-term benefits. And I realized that I was being underpaid for the amount of work that I was putting in, and maybe that was all they could give, but like, I'm not going to stay here in this situation because I'm going to suffer in the long run. So I left. But one of the people that I worked with there, who was newer than me, who I was kind of helping to train as well, was not very receptive to that. Like, I was younger and I understood the system better, and I worked harder. Like, this person didn't really pull their weight. They half-assed. They were on their phone a lot, and then they were coming in being bossy and talking to me like they were my supervisor, and I'm like, I don't appreciate that. And even trying to belittle me in ways to make it seem like, oh, I don't know what I'm talking about, and oh, I have a lot to learn type of, energy. And I'm like, where is this coming from? Like, you just got here and you're supposed to be here to learn and be humble, and you're over here thinking that you can, it was a strong attitude. And a little voice in my head told me she's jealous and this is just how she's coping, And right before I left, she ended up leaving. And before she left, she was talking about all these personal business ventures that she's going to go on, like how she's going to start a restaurant and how she's going to run this bar and be an assistant manager there. So she had these 2 part-time jobs. She wasn't even working there full-time. I was there full-time, giving it my all. And she was there part-time, half-assing, showing up late almost every week, making excuses to not be there. Like, it was bad. And not meeting the milestones that she was expected to meet by X amount of weeks. Like, she wasn't meeting them. She wasn't getting there. And I knew she wasn't trying to be there more than a year, if at all a year. I knew she was on her way out, but she came in there acting like she was going to contribute something and talking the talk but not walking the walk. And I didn't appreciate that. And now that I'm here, and she still has my contact information because I was friends with her mom before I left Ohio, she texted me and was like, hey, how are you? And I'm like, hey, I'm good. How are you? She sees what I've been posting. She knows that I'm here in Florida. And she's like, I didn't know if they were going to send you to Iran or not. And I'm just like, it's kind of tone deaf, to say it like that. It's giving, I kind of wish that your life didn't look as good as it's looking right now. You should be struggling and, fighting for your life right now. You should be, crying in the corner, seasick type of energy. That's, you might as well say, I thought they were going to send you to hell by now. That's what it's giving. And I realized that was the haterade that she's drinking, and I really mean that. Like, she brought jealous energy the whole time that we were working together. but I kept it cordial with her because I met her mother before I joined this organization, and I was cool with her. She had me over for Thanksgiving. Like, that was the situation. So it went beyond that, you know. And I have a lot of respect for her, but I don't have respect for her daughter at all. And it's weird, you know. It's a very weird dynamic to be in that situation, because it's like, I don't have that kind of relationship with my own parent. But there you go. Anyway, long story short, she ended up scratching the whole idea that she had about this restaurant, the bar, because she said it was going to be the property hunting and looking at properties with her cousin or her brother, and they're going to hook her up with a spot, and she's going to have like big screen TVs, and she's going to have arcade and a stage for people to perform, and she's going to sell like Mexican food and pizza and burgers and all of this stuff. Like, she had all this going on. And then she, a few weeks later, was talking about wanting to resell furniture and make a business out of that, or baking. Like, she wasn't just brainstorming. She sounded like she actually was about to do this stuff. Like, she would narrate it at work while she's supposed to be working, as if she's actually going to do these things. And these things did not happen. Like, she revamped her Instagram to market herself for this restaurant that never happened, and ended up taking it down. Took down whatever link it was that she had attached that went to nothing. Took down the profile photo that was of some logo that it was supposed to be, and the name. She changed her name back to the way it was before. And I think that when she realized that that plan is not going to work out, and people know after she done talked about it and put up this whole front like it was going to happen, this is why you really shouldn't share like your biggest plans with people unless you really are about to do this, because it's embarrassing, for one, when it doesn't work out, you know. And I'm not like, oh, hee hee ha ha about it, but you know, she made it sound like this was really what's going to happen, and it didn't. And then she came to me with a bit of a jealous energy. Like, she gave monitoring spirit energy for a while, and kind of witchy vibes. She's into that kind of stuff. So I'm just like, okay, be careful with her. And any negative energy, I just send it back to her. That's basically how I've been approaching it, is just keeping my spirit guarded with her. And I was playing the long game. Like, I'm not her friend, but I'm playing this long game where it's like, see, I want you to see how my blessings start to flow and the moves that I made. Like, I'm not telling everybody, because I know what's going to come into fruition. And when you start seeing me, it's a lesson learned, you know? And that's just one example. There was a job I had in a warehouse, a major warehouse. I was quality assurance, and I bust my butt to make sure everybody was doing their job. And because I was one of the youngest there, people wanted me fired. They wanted me fired so bad. There were a couple people, including my supervisors, that I honestly befriended. Like, they were fond of me. They liked me genuinely, and they knew that those other people were on some bullshit when they would say something that's not true about me. They're like, yeah, she would never do that. That's not her character. We have the Carfax. We see her working. Like, they've tried to accuse me of not working, not pulling my weight, whatever. My job was literally to make sure everything was done right. And if there was a discrepancy or a damaged product or something like that, bring it to supervisor attention and see about what we can do to make sure it doesn't happen again. That was my job, and I did it damn well. And in pain, walking around in the warehouse on those hard floors, back hurting all the time because I have scoliosis. Like, guys, I went through hell and back trying to get myself to and from work when I didn't have a car. I had a car for maybe about a year's time because my cars kept breaking down. Like, I had lemons, you know, like, I really struggle bust just to make it to the next day and still manage to look cute, like, or somewhat put together, you know, just to keep it cute. But I was just struggling and trying to keep smiling. Music kept me going, you know, friends, again, talking to them, venting to them when I needed to. There was a lot of lonely holidays, and then I just kind of grew out of that phase of feeling guilt or feeling like doubt, like in myself, like maybe this isn't the right path. But I knew there was nobody that was going to pull me out of the hole I was in but myself. So here I am, feeling like I'm on vacation, guys. I get to enjoy the morning watching the sunset. Watching the sunrise and watch the sunset if I want to. hearing the waves crashing. It's just simple, beautiful things. I actually dreamed of this. Like, people who have this might take it for granted. I don't. I get to see surfing at 10 in the morning. Real life entertainment. I don't have to turn the TV screen on to get entertained. If I want to go outside and watch people surf, I'm lit for that. And I got to go surfing for the first time last summer with my best friend. I have a video of that on my channel. Like, I'm exploring things. I'm checking off my bucket list, and I'm meeting important people, cool people, people from all over the world. Of course, I love that, and I'm really happy to be here. And I don't know exactly how long I'll be here, but I'm not thinking I'm going to make a whole career out of it. I want to get my education and use it to my advantage to, leverage a relatively normal life, but be able to treat myself and have extravagant things that maybe upper middle class people consider a norm. And I just want to be that inspiration again for other young women, young Caribbean women, immigrant women, whatever you are. Like, yeah, it's hard, especially when you're young, because they look at you like a baby, and then they underestimate you and your intelligence. They think that you don't clock things. They think that you don't know nothing. And honestly, I feel like I'm guilty of that sometimes. Like, when I see somebody who's significantly younger than me, I forget you can be very, very intelligent and be a teenager, be 20, 21 and still know some shit, Like, I've had to humble myself and be like, okay, because I have people now who are training me who are younger than me. And it feels weird knowing I'm, in some cases, one of the oldest people in the room, and I'm only 27. And in some rooms, I'm literally the oldest person. And that's okay. It's just nice to see the tides turning and experiencing life from a different lens, and not having to be that young baby, so to speak, that has to prove herself that yes, she knows how to use a computer. I'm not even joking. Like, that's where I'm at. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, I'll try to answer. If you have any experiences you want to share in the comments, share that, what you can relate to. If anything confused you, I'll try to clarify. But I don't like to get too into detail and specifics, but I'll be happy to respond. And I appreciate you guys watching this video. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and catch you later. Bye.